Today's learning target is I can multiply integers and simplify algebraic expressions.
So just like there are rules when we add integers, for example, a negative plus a negative is always going to be a negative, like -2 plus -3 would be -5. There's also some rules when we multiply integers. One of those rules is if we multiply integers with different signs, the answer is always going to be negative. Okay, so there's a couple of examples right here. So if you had a -3 times 4, okay, 4 times 3 is 12, and because there's one negative right here and one positive, remember if we don't see a negative there, this is going to be positive. So 4 times 3 is 12, and there's one negative, so it would be -12. 5 times a -4 would be -20. Okay, 1 times -1 would be a -1.
The next concept we're going to look at is multiplying integers with the same sign. And when that happens, when we see the word product means the answer to a multiplication problem. So the product of two integers or two numbers, and if they have the same sign, whether they're both positive or they're both negative, your answer is always going to be positive. Okay, they've given you some examples here. 2 times 6 is 12. And -10 times a -6 is going to equal 60. So they have the same sign here. So if I had 4 times 7, obviously you know that's 28. Same sign. If I had -4 times 7, okay, that would be one negative, one positive, it would be -28. If I had -4 times -7, same signs, it's going to equal 28. So a -10 times a -6 would equal 60. Alright, so I'm going to solve this problem here, right here. And so when I look at this problem, remember the commutative property of multiplication allows me to multiply in any order that I want, and it's not going to change my answer. So when I look at this problem, I could do 4 times 12, but I'm going to take this -4 times -5, because that's the easy one to do in my head. So I know when I take -4 times -5, 4 times 5 is 20, and I see that it's going to be two negative signs here. When I multiply two negatives, I get a positive. So -4 times -5 is 20, and then I'm going to times that by 12. Okay, and now I just have to take a look. Okay, and I know 20 is 2 times 10. Okay, so I'm going to take 2 times 12 is 24, and then times it by 10. When I times it by 10, I just add a 0 at the end. So I know 20 times 12 is 240. So my answer to this is 240. The next thing I'm going to do is simplify simplify this expression right here. And so remember, when I simplify, I'm basically trying to get it simpler. And so what I have here is I have 4 different numbers. Okay, 2 of them I know -7 and I know 4, and there's going to be a number for A and a number for B. The commutative property, just like in the last one, allows us to multiply in any order. So what I'm going to take a look at doing to simplify this is I'm going to put -7 times 4. I'm going to solve that first. So I know that gives me -28. And now I just have to take into account these two numbers, A and B. So if I were to simplify this, it would look like this answer right here, -28 AB. For this problem, I'm going to evaluate, which essentially means solve, 3xy. And then here it gives me what I have to keep in mind. So x is going to equal 2, and y is going to equal -6. So I'm going to plug that in right now. So I have 3, and I have x equals 2, so I'm going to put that in there, and y equals -6. Okay, here again the commutative property lets me solve in any order. But you know what? I'm just going to go just like this. 3 times 2, I'm going to solve that one first, and that gives me 6. And now I'm going to times that by -6. Okay, and I know when I times a negative and a positive, it's always going to be a negative. 6 times 6 is 36. So when I evaluate or solve that problem, here's my answer.